Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Before breaking Bob Knight's record for the most all-time Big Ten victories, Michigan State men's basketball coach Tom Izzo downplayed the accomplishment because he's been coaching 1 year longer than Knight did, and teams now play more conference games per season than they used to. When the Spartans took down Illinois this past Saturday, 79-65 in Champaign, Izzo's feelings about the accomplishment did not change, but he does have gratitude knowing he's in the same air as Knight. Here's a recap of how things went in Champaign for the Spartans. With the way things started.
Deflected. Illinois the other way. Inside. Wham! With the right hand. Johnson again.
It didn't look like Saturday was going to be the day Tom Izzo broke Bob Knight's record. A hot start from Illinois at home led to a 14-point lead over Michigan State, who was looking to bounce back from a loss at home to Indiana.
5-ball turnover.
There's no question that our loss to Indiana was one of my lowest in my career because of the way we played, and give them credit the way they played, and disappointed a lot of people at home. And to get back off the ground and do it, these guys did tonight. You know, this was a hell of an environment, and I can't think of a better way to bounce back than winning here.
The Spartans weren't fazed by the Orange crush after falling in a deep hole and would cut the Illinois lead to 4 at halftime, which was a little better than what Izzo was hoping for.
Colder again.
We were down and out, I mean, and that crowd was ready to explode. I mean, they did explode, and when we were 16 and 14, whatever we were down, and we cut it down to 10, and we talked about cutting it down to 6, and we cut it closer than that. So I think anytime you can go on a run like that, it's very impressive and important when you're on the road.
The second half went back and forth for most of the way, but then the basket got bigger for the Spartans and closed for the Illini. With 8:29 remaining in the game, Ben Hummerkaus connected on a jump shot to put Illinois up 65-64. MSU would then close the game on a 15-0 run, with Illinois missing 19 straight shots to end the game. A gritty comeback win would give Tom Izzo 354 career Big Ten victories, passing Bob Knight for the most all time.
Folks, you have witnessed history. The winningest coach in the history of the Big Ten Conference.
What I'm proudest of, I looked it up a couple weeks ago, and I think I've had 148 players that I've coached that have been part of these 350-some wins. I've had 6 and 7 presidents and ADs. I've had, I think, 18 assistant coaches and trainers and different people. I mean, they're all part of this thing. But the greatest one for me, and I was impressed with the crowd tonight. I think there were 6,600,000 people that helped me win 354 games. Fans, the fans in the stands. And that's what I think is building a program.
Izzo's first ever Big Ten win came back on January 4th of 1996 when he took down Knight and Indiana at the Breslin Center 65-60. Knight is someone Izzo viewed as a role model when he first started coaching and feels honored to break the record, even if he feels Knight deserves to keep it.
If I can be in the same breath with him on that, that's cool for me. I had great respect for him as a coach, and he helped me a lot in my younger days as a head coach. So I'm hoping he and Judd and Gus or my dad are having a beer, and Judd telling Bob that I didn't play zone, and Bob telling Judd that I something else, and Gus just being happy as 10 men, because that was Gus. So my dad, I'm sure he's proud, but it's the players, guys. It's the fans. It's the presidents. It's the ADs. It's the people that all made this possible for me to have a chance to accomplish something like that. And I didn't shoot. I didn't dribble. They did it for me, and I'm so appreciative of that.
With just about 2 weeks left in the regular season, the Spartans are still in the mix for a Big Ten title. It won't be easy, though, as 5 of their final 6 games are against current ranked teams. That includes this past week's games against Purdue and Michigan. It was a very busy week for Izzo and the Spartans, and because he was getting ready for the games with the Boilermakers and Wolverines, we did not have time to sit down with him, but we did catch up with the MSU gymnastics team, who's looking to win its 3rd straight Big Ten title. We'll have that for you right after the break.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/Cashback Plus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
On Saturday at 2 p.m. at Jennison Fieldhouse, the Michigan State gymnastics team will be hosting Rutgers for their final home Big Ten meet of the regular season. Hard to believe. Our Haley Schoengart caught up with head coach Mike Rowe this week to talk about the team's successful trip to Nebraska this past weekend.
Nikki Smith coming off of her 3rd straight all-around title at Nebraska. What is working so well for her this season?
That's just Nikki. She's a gamer. We knew that coming in. We just trying to find the right, what I want to say, little niches here and there that are going to work best for her. And it's not necessarily working the code to our advantage because she is extremely talented and has a lot of skill and difficulty and everything. It's just trying to say in any given, is there a better way we can do this? Or is something that's going to take, not that there's a built-in deduction, but that's going to give her less chance of maybe having a half-tenth taken here or there. So she will go further, and she loves to compete. You can tell she does, and she's the whole package. She got to come out of her shell a little bit because she was a little timid, and unless you really got to know her or around her a lot, one of her best closest friends or whatever, she could be more herself. Her sister helped her a lot while she was here. It's been like an evolution for her, but it's she's just classic in every respect of the word, and it's just. She is what you see, you know what I'm saying? She's a gamer, she's very talented, she's very personality, she's a sweetheart, she's, just loves what she's doing, loves life.
What did you learn about your team being in a close meet with Nebraska?
I have always said that when we go against tougher, either higher ranked opponents or tougher opponents with, maybe a more traditional winning, national history, whatever, that we raise the bar. The team raises the bar and they work towards that. Nebraska being 23rd at the time, I don't think they lowered the bar. I just don't think they were quite on it. When bars didn't come out, we barely went 49 on bars, and that was just like unheard of. And then we got to go to vault, and we know that's our huge event, but I think they were still carrying a little bit of bars with them. It just kind of carried through, and that obviously did not help the performance on any event after that. So, we've got to, they know they're capable of doing much more, and it's getting back into that, with that in mind, raising your bar, not carrying any routine or event to the next event, and show them what you're made of. Hitting on all cylinders again. We did that at Michigan, and I think we've kind of fallen by the wayside of that just a little bit. So we just have to settle in, do our gymnastics, and we'll be fine.
How do you flip that switch back to firing on all cylinders like you were a couple meets ago?
Right. Business as usual. I think the less we make of it, the better that we're going to be. Just keep doing what we're doing. We can't overtrain them. We're going into week 8, 3/4 of the way into the season. We can see 3 more times on the road, 2 more times at home, and then postseason is here. And that's not I don't think that's oh my gosh, we've got to do something quick. We're in a good position. There's no need to stress or freak out about it. We just got to stay on the right path.
We've seen some true freshmen in your lineups this season, Katie Duplessis, Amy Doyle. How have they been able to transition from elite gymnastics to Big Ten collegiate gymnastics so seamlessly?
Right, it seems like they have, and I'd agree with you that they have. I think they're transitioning very well into how they're doing it. It's actually pretty seamless from when you think about it. You know, next year they'll be in more lineups, obviously, so the summer's going to be important that we, you know, hone in on some details quicker so they can be on more events and, you know, be ready to go. But I think they've done a great job, you know, transitioning for two freshmen who didn't know what they were getting themselves into, and now they're in the thick of it.
To have two freshmen come right in, jump into some lineups, how do you manage the depth that you have at your team?
It's, you know, we tried to stay true and fair to everyone by, you know, percentages and consistency in the gym and charting their daily workouts and being true to those charts and things like that. And then, you know, coming down to actually putting a lineup and who's going to be that one or two, who are going to be those one or two exhibition spots or whatever is kind of, sometimes it comes down to your gut. And, that's not always right, and we could think we're right, and it's still not always right. So we try to use as much strategy and proof to help us make it easier in selecting lineups, and it doesn't mean it's easier. It's not.
MSU is currently ranked 7th in the nation. How is this team measuring up to the expectations you had for them set maybe preseason?
Oh, amazing, amazing, right where we need to be, and then some. I don't think we've ever been ranked this high for this long. And we know deep in our hearts that we should be number 4 right now. You know, we could be, and we drop a couple of these scores and we will be, but no one else is standing still to wait for us to pass them, or no one else is, you know, there's 70-some teams running up our back to try to get them ahead of us. So yeah, we still have our work cut out for us, and we know that. We're smart enough to know that no one's laying down to, you know, let us walk over them and get there. So, but I still feel that we're in a really, really good place.
The Spartans are ranked 7th in the country, and when we come back, the conversation with Roe will continue as he's going to dive into an area of focus that has helped improve his team outside the gym. We'll see you soon.
I love getting out and trying new things, but my seizures have always kept me back. Thankfully, the providers and researchers at MSU Healthcare work together to get my epilepsy under control. So now, I can try anything.
At MSU Healthcare, helping you do you is what matters most to us. In fact, it's our mission. Visit healthcare.msu.edu to find a provider.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
With the end of the regular season in sight for the Michigan State gymnastics team, who's seeking its 3rd straight Big Ten title, our Haley Schoengard explains how the Spartans are using something away from the apparatus to help them win another conference title.
The past couple of years, you guys have continued raising the bar, winning the Big Ten, setting a new program record. What is it about this team that makes you think that, you know, top 5 is very achievable?
What they've demonstrated to us, what we see in the gym every single day, I guess that's the hardest part, because before we've always said we try to recreate our practice environment and stay in our bubble and be on the floor and all that, and we've kind of hit sometimes and missed sometimes. The 4 cylinders thing, they're getting that kind of thing, that it's almost like 4 individual meets with 4 individual events. We've got to, you know, break it down a little bit more. Like I said, we've been working on everything above the shoulders and what's going on in their heads. How can we help you? What resources can we give you to help you with that? Last second when the green flag goes up, you're saluting and going. You know, is there something that's distracting you during, you know, while you're competing, things like that. We've taken our coaching philosophy to another level with that in mind, with how important the sports psych aspect of it is, because they show time and time again that their gymnastics isn't always, you know, not the issue. We try to get rid of those built-in deductions, so it's not the issue. It's how are you feeling the day of the meet and before you step up.
What made you want to invest in that mental side of this sport this season?
Sweet 16 last year, when we couldn't explain what went wrong, and then we went back and looked at it and talked about it with the girls and everything, and it was a, you know, combination of a lot of things going into it, and it had nothing to do with their gymnastics. For being like a big dog or feeling like you're a big dog amongst some of the elite teams and all that kind of stuff is great and exciting and great for the record books and great for the university and our program and all that kind of stuff. But when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it or whatever, and you're in that spot for, this is the meat. This is the one that's going to take us there. I think they went, deer's eyes in the headlights, and there was some little things that really, then we got ourselves in a little hole we couldn't get out of.
What do some of those services or things like that look like for your gymnasts throughout the week now that you've integrated that into the practice?
Well, a lot of communication, we've worked with breathing exercises and self-talk and visualization techniques and things like that. And it's not foreign to this sport. A lot of them do them in their programs as junior Olympic athletes, but a lot of them don't. So a lot of them understand the concepts behind them and how to do it and how to make it work for you. Basically, anything that we can give them positive, that's feeding them positively while they're competing, is sort of a distraction to the negativity that can come in and just, implode a whole routine. Working with them and reminding them, are you using your self-talk? Are you, breathing? Are you setting them up in scenarios where, okay, the judges, we're ready to go. You're standing there for a minute and a half and the judge is just not ready to salute to you. What's going through your mind? Or are you going to go to your breathing techniques? You're going to visualize, close your eyes and visualize. Actually implementing those things and doing them so you're practicing it and not saying, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm out there on meet day on the floor and actually then I'll visualize. Chances are it's not going to work. So just trying to practice that and get them involved with participating in their own mental program, whatever they use, whatever works best for them. And some of them haven't. So introducing it to them and then see what works best. Some of them we're still trying to figure out what works best. They don't know yet.
How have you seen some of those breathing techniques, visualizations, things like that positively impact the gymnast day of the meet?
I've seen it happen, and there's some of the veterans that have been with us a couple of years have done it all along, and they're successful because of it. And that's the thing until you try, don't knock it until you've tried it and you see it start to work for you. The green flag or the judge raises their hand or whatever, ready to go, and you've been visualizing. You've just done a whole beam routine in your head. You're ready to go. There's don't let anything else. It's just you and your team. They're here cheering you on. It's their voices, nobody else. Nobody else matters. Giving you that extra, whether it's backup or support or anything to build your confidence or not make you think of, but what if I fall? Keeping those kind of things out of your head.
Well, and how important is that self-talk, the visualization, things like that, especially with a sport like gymnastics that is 95% mental, 5% physical?
Yeah, it's extremely important. There's some kids that I couldn't tell you the percentage, but it's a small percentage, I would say, of even elite gymnasts out there that have trouble when it comes to competing. They struggle on one event or another, or maybe skill, and then it's up to the coaches to decide should that skill be there or not, if that's going to be the big issue. But no, it's extremely important because like I said, any kind of negativity that you let sneak in is not going to have a great impact on your performance level, or you can see it. You can see their rhythm slow down on beam. I don't mean to keep going to beam, but you can see them stiffen up and not swing with a smooth rhythm on bars. You can see them second guessing their steps on a vault or out of the corner on the tumbling pass. You can see it not there. When it's working for them, they're just performing. They're just doing it. It's second nature.
Despite sending individuals to nationals the past few years, Michigan State is still in search of that team bid to nationals. And when we come back, we're going to be sitting down with a fifth-year senior who's hoping to lead the Spartans to Fort Worth, Texas. We'll have that for you right after the break.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
The MSU gymnastics team got some welcome news over the summer when Delaney Harkness and Gianna Khalifi announced they'd be returning for a 5th year to help the Spartans pursue a trip to the NCAA championships. And with the regular season winding down, the Spartans are close to reaching that goal. Our Tyler Driesinga sat down with Harkness this week to discuss her pursuing and achieving her goals of competing for MSU.
Time truly does go by fast here, so really enjoying each and every moment you have, and definitely building relationships with each and every girl on the team is very important because you'll probably have them as lifelong friends as soon as you get out of here.
With less than 2 months remaining in her final season with MSU Gymnastics, Delaney Harkness is cherishing every day. Gymnastics has been a core part of her life as far back as she can remember.
I started when I was 3. I was always just flipping around the house, my mom said. I literally would not stop moving.
Harkness grew up in Leslie, Michigan, just a half-hour drive from East Lansing.
My grandpa was a die-hard Spartan fan, so he was always bleeding green. So yeah, I kind of just knew that this was the place I always wanted to be at.
What are some of your earliest MSU memories?
I would just always come to the gymnastics meet when I was little. I was pretty good friends already with the coaches like Nicole Curler and Mike Rowe. So I would always just come out and support their team that they had at that moment, and yeah, it was great.
Harkness's parents, Jim and Shannon, didn't just drive her to watch MSU. They drove her everywhere as her talent as a gymnast blossomed. Harkness was a level 10 gymnast for 8 years before coming to MSU. She was the 2014 Junior Olympics Athlete of the Year. She won national championships and competed in places like Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and all over the United States. Through every step, her parents were right there with her.
They've sacrificed a lot, and they've just always been there for me, especially on the tough days, so they've been everything to me throughout this journey.
What is it like for you now to see them in the stands when you're at an age where you can kind of have better understanding, I guess, of what they sacrificed for you to get to this point?
Yeah, I'm so grateful that they're able to just be in the stands and watch me do what I love. There's been a couple meets this year where my mom pulls me aside at the end and she's like, "You made me cry on one of your like floor routines or your bar routines. Like, I can't believe this is it." But yeah, just like seeing her tears like makes me like really realize like how much like they do enjoy watching me. They've been there the whole time.
Harkness has enjoyed a highly decorated career at MSU. She was second team All-Big Ten as a sophomore, first team as a junior, and earned second team honors again last year as a senior. She's helped transform the program she grew up rooting for into back-to-back Big Ten regular season champions. And her senior year culminated with the Spartans winning the Big Ten championship meet for the first time ever. But with another year of eligibility available, Harkness wasn't content to ride off into the sunset.
And what went into your decision to return for a 5th year?
Just after last season, I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to be done yet. I had an opportunity to do one more year of something that I truly love, so why not take it and enjoy the ride?
There are just 2 home meets remaining for Harkness at Jennison Fieldhouse. As she finishes her routines and looks to the crowd, she'll see her parents, there as always to root her on. She'll also see dozens of little girls dreaming the same dreams she did when this journey began.
I always get a kick out of all the little kids that come to the meets and are so excited to meet you guys and scream their little heads off.
Yeah.
And from the sounds of it, you were that kid once upon a time. Do you ever think about that little Delaney and what she would say about where you are and what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think about that all the time. I'm sure she would say that she's proud that I've made it this far and what I've accomplished, and just that she's living the dream that she always wished for.
While Saturday's meet with Rutgers will be the Spartans' final home Big Ten meet of the season, their final meet of the season will be on March 16th when they welcome in Bowling Green for Senior Day. The Spartans will honor Harkness as well as their 7 other seniors that night. That'll be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed. And before we go, here's our Play of the Week.
Now, the Play of the Week, sponsored by Chupan & Sons.
It is hard to believe that Fletcher Lowe's only taken 1 shot, and perfect off-ball defense. Lob it up. Oh! Wow.
When you grocery shop with MSU FCU Cashback Plus, you get cash back. When you buy prescriptions, you get cash back. When you travel, dine out, buy gas, make home improvements, get up to 20% of your hard-earned cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Discover how at msufcu.org/cashback plus.
10,000 Michigan children are in foster care, and many of them need a temporary home. Are you open?
As a foster parent, you help a child reach their goals.
You make a game-changing assist.
You give a child the home advantage.
And you do it because you know every child deserves a special team.
Ready to cheer on a child? Take the first step to become a foster parent today.